Aloha, everybody. Thank you for coming. We're going to start. We've got a few readings to do. I have a slide presentation, and then we've got some more music for you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. First of all, we just wanted to welcome everyone and say thank you so much for all of you for coming to help celebrate what a special person Julie was. I know a lot of you have known her for a long time, and she was as special to you as she was to those of us in the family. You might be wondering, some of us, Amy and Gigi were kind enough to make these leis for the family members, so if you don't know who any of us are, because I know you all, a lot of you know each other, but we don't know you, so please take the time to come up and say hi to us, because we want to know each and every one of you as well. I'm Pete's sister, Carrie, my sister Laura here, and as I said, we just wanted to say welcome, thank you again for coming out on such a hot day. Please be sure to take care of yourselves and get some cold water or cool off if you need to. We want to especially thank Julie's newly found long-distance family who came all this way to be a part of this, because they were so important to her, and obviously she was important to them too, so we think that's great. You'll learn more about that if you don't know more about that yet. We have two readings that we'd like to share with you. I'm actually going to let my sister Laura go first, and then I'll follow up with it. Now one is finally dead, until the ripples they cause in the world die away, until the clock he wound winds down, until the wine she made has finished its ferment, until the crop they planted is harvested. The span of someone's life is only the core of their actual existence. Don't think of it as dying, said Death. And so the ripples for a lot of us continue. And one of the ripples is Julie's dog, Huli, who I now have at my house. Julie got Huli a couple years ago, and I believe in Hawaiian, Huli means chicken. Is that right? Huli Huli? And she's a big chicken, and she's a lot. And anyway, so that ripple is going to carry on for me and my family for like a decade. You know, the other ripples that Julie will bring is memories, as well as choreography and pottery, and you know, you have your own memories. So, and then the other reading. Oh, and flamingos are not a Hawaiian thing, but Julie, we had a tradition in our family where we passed a flamingo back and forth at Christmas time. So, Darla, and so this is for Julie. It's as goofy as I could get, and she would love it. She is Gone by David Harkins. You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she is gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what she would want, smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. Some of you know Addie Chang. She was not able to come today, but she sent me a really sweet message that I thought I would share. Please pass on my heartfelt condolences to Pete and the family. I've known Julie since we were both dancing hula in the late 70s. I still remember going to the Aloha Inn to watch this haole do an amazing Tahitian. Through the years, our paths would cross at numerous hula programs, seminars, workshops, and Hawaiian events. She had such a creative and energetic spirit, focused on her love of culture and the arts. I will always remember Julie for her warmth, friendliness, and openness. She was truly an embodiment of the Aloha spirit, and I'm truly saddened by her passing. I continue to wear t-shirts in her honor. When I was first looking for a reading to share about, a poem to share about Julie, I found this one that really spoke to me because of all of the beautiful things that she was involved in. With her drawing, her painting, her sketching, the pottery, and most especially all of the beautiful hula that she was involved with for years and years that you all know. I want to share with you a poem called The Instructions. It's by Arnold Crompton. When I have moved beyond you in the adventure of life, gather in some pleasant place, and there remember me, with spoken words old and new. Let a tear fall, if you will, but let a smile come quickly, for I have loved the laughter of life. Do not linger too long with your solemnities. Go eat and talk, and when you can, follow a woodland trail, climb a high mountain, walk along the wild seashore, chew the thoughts of some book which challenges your soul. Use your hands some bright day to make a thing of beauty and to lift someone's heavy load. Though you mention not my name, though no thought of me crosses your mind, I shall be with you. For these have been the realities of my life for me. And when you face some crisis with anguish, when you walk alone with courage, when you choose your path of right, I shall be very close to you. I have followed the valleys, and I have climbed the heights of life.
Thanks, Gary and Laura. Well, so we live in Florida now, and we have already had a life celebration for all of the friends that were there that helped us through her illness, and even after, helped me with simple things like a neighbor would say, "I made too much beef stew, would you like some? I made too much London broil, would you like some? I made too much cobbler, would you like some?" Of course I said no. What? Yes to everything. But I wanted to thank each and every one of you, because in some small or large way, every one of you sitting out there has been a huge help to me and to Julie in just to get her to or through her issue, and for me to help afterwards. The amount of love, the cards, the emails, the texts were so heartwarming. There was not a day that goes by that I wouldn't open up my email and see something that was just, it touched me so greatly. And I tried to send back some handwritten thank you notes, but you know what happens when you get old? Your hands start to cramp up, and you can't do it as much anymore. But I also wanted to give a huge thanks to our hosts and hostess, Tom and Trippy Pendlin, for letting us use their property, use the house, and their unconditional yes. When we asked them, we need a favor, and all they said was yes. Well, we didn't even tell you what the favor was. Doesn't matter. Yes. So, thank you. Thank you. So Julie was born June 8th, 1954. She was born in Frankfurt, West Germany, to birth parents Elizabeth Moikel and Jack Malloy. I mentioned the birth parents because they become very prominent in her story a little later on. She was adopted by Scott and Deloma Brandon on the day of her birth. Julie's adoptive parents met with friends stationed in Germany while they were part of the Foreign Service. And the friends asked them, "Are you thinking of starting a family?" And Scott and Dee said, "Well, we've had some difficulty." The friends both looked at each other and they said, "Put your drinks down. We may have a solution for you. Our housekeeper is pregnant." And the reason for the adoption was that the birth father, Jack, would not be able to bring the birth mother home to the United States because she had a child, and his strict Catholic upbringing would not permit that, and he was fearful that she would not be accepted by the family. Birth mother Elizabeth handed the child to Julie's adoptive mother. And then she went about her life telling the remainder of her family in Germany that the child died at birth. The Brandons then traveled the world
with Julie, and they joined USAID, the State Department's Agency for International Development. And Scott was a civil engineer. During their adolescent time, they lived in Haiti, Utah, Northern Virginia, and Panama. A couple of nice places. Her adoptive parents were both from the state of Utah. Her adoptive parents were from a small town in Utah called Kanab, in the southern part of the state. The town made its name for itself because it was calling itself Little Hollywood. It was a town where a lot of the movie companies would come and use as a base camp so that they could film many of the television and movie westerns that many of us are familiar with. And here's a sample of some of them. The Lone Ranger, The Desperados with Jack Palance, McKenna's Gold, Maverick, Planet of the Apes, How the West Was Won, Death Valley Days, and Gunsmoke, to name a few. Her dad, being a civil engineer, said he wanted to cash in on some of this money that was coming into the town, so he decided to build a motel in town using borrowed money from his mother and help from his brother and a couple of friends. The family owned and operated the hotel for several years, but kind of grew restless after that, and they wanted to re-enter the Foreign Service. In her teenage years, the Washington, D.C. suburb of Bailey's Crossroads, right down the road from us here, was where she finished elementary school and middle school. Since that was where she spent most of her time, she chose to visit colleges and settled on Randolph-Macon College in Lynchburg, Virginia. During holidays and summer vacations, Julie would travel to wherever her parents were stationed. That could be Seoul, South Korea, or Asuncion, Paraguay, any number of places. After graduation, though, she returned to the Washington, D.C. area. We were married on October 15th, 1983. We were able to adopt our daughter, Lorena, who was born April 2nd, 1990. But then comes the surprise of a lifetime. Julie learned that she has two families. Her adoptive family, she had 2 uncles and 5 cousins, all boys. But the surprise came when I gave her a 23andMe kit to try and learn about medical information, since she was adopted and did not really receive very much. She got the health information I gave her the kit in 2017. Several years later, she received an email from a cousin of her stepbrother, Dave Malloy, and who's the son of Jack Malloy, her birth father. Jack was still alive at the time. We communicated with Dave several times by email, and we were able to get together several times as they would travel from Detroit, passing Gaithersburg, Maryland, down to Norfolk, where they had a son who was stationed there. We also had a chance to meet Sister Susie and her husband, Mike. Due to the birth parents' age and their declining health, we all decided that it was not in the parents' best interest to know that Julie had been discovered by the remainder of the family. And as if that wasn't enough, Julie was contacted by a family on her birth mother's side. Matt Ford's father, Perry, was a half-brother to Julie from her birth mother's side. Perry had died the year before, but he had a sister, Lori, who lived in Oklahoma. Emails began to fly back and forth, and very soon we scheduled a trip to Muskogee, Oklahoma. That was the first meeting with them. Since then, Perry's family has come to visit Julie and I and revel in the miracle of discovering family you didn't know you had. But what her real calling card was her artwork. She was an accomplished artist, doing sketches and casual wear. If you look around, you'll probably see some people wearing some of that today. but her proudest accomplishment was dancing the hula. She started dancing in high school, in Panama of all places. She was a self-professed tomboy at the time, and when asked why did she do it, she said, "It's physical and it makes me feel pretty." She continued to dance with friends Debbie Velasco and Jonna Capizzuto in the Ho'aloha Band, performing shows weekly. The three girls would also travel to other cities taking workshops from visiting teachers. One such workshop was held in Indianapolis with Kelly E. Reichel, who was known to love less than traditional, otherwise known as rascally off-color hula. And during the performance of theirs, they changed the lyrics of an existing song and brought down the house. To this day, they are still known as the DC Divas. She continued to dance as a key performing contributor to performances for Halau Nohona Hawaii throughout Washington, D.C. But this was where her art and her hula were able to come together. Along with Amy Burba, they outfitted costumes and accessories for Halau for up to 100 dancers. We used to have printing parties at our house where people would bring ironing boards and material, and we would help them print their practice patterns. You can't imagine the number of people who were stressed out trying to print a simple design, but she was able to help them through the tiny little mistakes they thought they made, but making it look like, well, now it's definitely yours, not someone else's. I can vividly remember times where I'd look out in my backyard and we'd had a fence, a 6-foot fence that was all the way around the yard. And every square inch of that fence had clothespins with material on it, and they were spray painting. It looked like the sky had fallen from above, and I was looking straight out at my fence to see the sky. They were painting a blue pattern. Of course, she also knew that if she left it up to the men, it would be a total disaster. Part of her impact, though, on the Pacific Island community was her ability to reach out to many different groups. She reached out to the Maori Traveling Group and invited them to come stay at our home when they traveled through the city. It was a blast to have them visit, and we had some friends get involved as well. Her interest in history, culture, and geography about the Hawaiian Islands led her to write 2 books about the travels of the Hawaiian monarch as he traveled through Washington, D.C. She also, with Debbie, published a children's book, How the Little Ipu Got Its Name. The two of them worked to craft the story, and Julie drew the illustrations. Elementary school teachers in Hawaii still use this book today to encourage confidence and individuality. However, after moving to Florida, the hula connection was very hard to find. She found, though, her outlet in pottery at a local visual arts studio in town. She had the ability to go from a beginner and within 2 years be the teacher's aides, where students would come in and they would freak out for the mistakes they thought they made, and she would help either fix them or say, well, just like with the pa'u, that makes it yours. And she had some extremely important help along the way. There's a fellow who was the instructor at this school, who had also had a medical background and knew the troubles that she was going to be going through, and would specifically tell me, get her in here, because I know what I can do to help her, to keep her mentally stimulated, to keep her small motor skills accurate. She was also always known for her sense of humor. I don't know if you can see this, but this is her with the monster teeth. And she had some accomplices too. We had just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary a few days before she passed. I'm still learning some things about her after she's been gone. I've been receiving emails from folks saying how she helped introduce them to Halau as soon as a new member would arrive. She was one of the first ones to race up to them and welcome them, bring them into the fold, tell them tell them not to be freaked out, but enjoy yourself, learn what you can, but mostly enjoy. Oh, and by the way, there's food. But she still amazes me. Thank you.
This is dedicated to Julie. Voice is soft as a warm summer day. Your sweet laughter, mornings after, ever after too. I'll remember you. To your arms someday, I'll return to stay. Love me always, promise always. Ooh, you'll remember too. I'll remember you. Julie, we will remember you.